Hey, what's up everyone? Hopefully my mic is fixed. I know the last few videos, I think Heather messaged me, and then I got a message from a few other people that they couldn't really hear me, so I turned up the mic louder, so hopefully everyone can hear me and there are no volume problems. Anyways, I'm going to do a few more reviews today. I'm going to do some coffee fragrances. I'm going to do a few of them. And before I get into this, I'd just like to say that for like a little disclaimer, when I think of coffee, what my nose relates to coffee is obviously just going to be a smell of coffee brewing in the morning, that kind of smell. Maybe like a mocha cappuccino thing, or something just like a, walking into a Dunkin' Donuts, that smell of, donuts and just coffee in the air, okay? And I'm only saying that because, a lot of times, you hear about, oh, this is a coffee fragrance, whatever, and you smell it, and I know I'm definitely of the opinion that a lot of coffee fragrances I don't think smell like coffee, okay? So I'm just saying that to give a disclaimer for that, get that out of the way. And I know there are some some more enthusiasts about fragrances, and they're like, well, if you just want to smell like coffee, just pour coffee on yourself. Well, you know what, I mean, I take that as someone just being a hater, basically, and being anal about it. But, I mean, okay, so say if you're going to go by that route, then, well, again, if Dunkin' Donuts just made their own fragrance that smelled like a Dunkin' Donuts, like coffee and, donuts, I would take that as well. But anyway, just getting that out of the way so no one, tries to kill me because, what my nose relates to coffee is not what a lot of so-called coffee fragrances like. It just doesn't call to mind coffee. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a cop-out, but just wanted to get that disclaimer out of the way, if I may do so. So the first one I'm going to do is a fragrance that's been pretty popular, probably about the last 2 years, I feel like, and that is Intense Cafe from Montale. And so let's get out. The top notes are floral notes, that's it. Middle notes are coffee and rose, and the base notes are amber, vanilla, and musk. And before I get into this exactly, I'm going to say that all of these reviews, actually, what I got out of these fragrances were a little bit different and generally in the minority, actually, of what everyone else seemed to get. You know what I mean? So what I got out of this is not a lot of coffee. Now that isn't unusual because a lot of people have complained that they don't get much coffee out of this, and I didn't get a lot of coffee in this either. What I did get was and again, this is in the minority, and I think I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 other people write this in a review of theirs. I got a bubblegum smell the whole time, actually. And it's a very plain bubblegum smell, like a very plain pink Bazooka Joe bubblegum kind of thing, like from when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So I know that's not a popular opinion, but all 3 of these fragrances I'm going to review, my nose related it to something that was not of the vast majority. So I got a bubblegum kind of smell out of this, actually. The coffee in this was, besides the first blast, the initial blast, get rid of the first few minutes once you blast it off. The coffee in this, for me, that I could smell, generally lasted only maybe a few hours or so. And it was really in the background of the fragrance. It's, you had to fight it. You had to fight to get the coffee note for me, personally. Which, again, I guess that isn't too rare because a lot of people don't get coffee out of this either. Just the coffee note was nice. It's kind of like a warm, kind of like roasting coffee. I mean, it is nice, but to get to that coffee note, it's way in the background. And it's, just, for me personally, it's covered by this kind of Bazooka Joe bubblegum sweet sort of smell, plain bubblegum kind of smell. I will say it's a nice smell, and I will say of these 3 that I'm reviewing right now, I have gotten a lot of compliments the few times that I've worn this. So compliment-wise, this one actually has done good. So hype-wise, you know what I mean? I know this does get a fair amount of hype. This has done pretty well for me. I just don't, it doesn't call to mind coffee when I smell it though. Again, the coffee's way in the background and you gotta fight for it to get to it. It's really in the background. Again, covered by a Bazooka Joe kind of bubblegum kind of smell. And the coffee, after about a few hours, the coffee almost completely goes away to the point that the only time you can smell the coffee is now a skin scent on your arm. So you got to get really deep, really if you're trying to enjoy the fragrance yourself, because that's all I smell it. And the coffee's only real purpose at that point, I feel, is more probably kind of serving as to make the fragrance just add a little bit more of a touch of a darkness, a little bit more, kind of like sweetness, maybe almost add a slight bit of spice. I mean, there's the rose there, I guess, that I guess could add kind of a spice, kind of, sort of, you know what I mean? But any coffee that's in the fragrance at that point, again, is kind of just adding a little bit of a darker element to the sweetness, which I think can almost maybe trick your nose and make you kind of think of almost like a cocoa, very slight chocolate sort of smell behind all this Bazooka Joe bubblegum. And again, if you fight for it, and again, it's only at my skin at that point as a skin scent, you can get a little bit of that coffee, but again, it's really far in the background. So overall, projection-wise, I mean, it wasn't too amazing, but I will say when I had someone smell me up close, they did think it was strong up close, which is strange. Like, it didn't project far, but when they got closer, they thought it was kind of like strong smelling, taking a lot in. I don't feel that way personally, but I'm just saying I did get a comment on that. And again, comment-wise, I will say I've gotten good compliments on this actually. But projection-wise, I didn't think it was anything crazy, although like most Montales, longevity was fine. I got like 12 hours, It was nice. So overall, I think it's a good fragrance, but it has a misleading name. I don't think in cafe at all whatsoever from it, Certainly doesn't make me think of coffee. Again, I'll admit I do get some coffee, but I really got to fight for it the first few hours to get through the Bazooka Joe plain bubblegum sort of smell. And then after that, it really just serves to add a little bit of a darkness to the sweetness. And really, the only coffee I can even pick up, it's a skin scent sort of, and you gotta really fight for it. So, is it worth the hype? Perhaps smell-wise, maybe. I just think it's a misleading name. I will say I have felt kind of bored when I've worn this, though. It isn't very interesting to me, and it's fairly linear, I guess. So I guess it wasn't very interesting to me, and I have felt kind of bored while wearing it a few times. But, I guess I will say it does get compliments, and it does smell nice. But misleading name, I think. So that was Intense Cafe from Montale. The next one, okay, I might get some hate from this. The next one is Express Royale from Sebastian? I don't even know. Yeah, something like that. Express Royale from Sebastian, something like that. This is a newer one. I think this was just came out maybe just a couple years ago. It's also pretty recent, but it's just started getting more hype. Specifically, the last year, I've seen it getting a lot of hype on YouTube and Bass Notes. Again, I'm always trying to find a great coffee scent, looking for something that I really evokes coffee, my nose, that it can relate to that kind of smell. So, I tried this one, and like I said, it gets a lot of hype. There's not a lot of notes for this one either. The top notes are only rum. Middle notes are coffee, hazelnut, and caramel. And the base notes are tonka bean. And you know what, dude? Again, like I said, I'm in a minority for all of these, so don't fucking hate me, okay? This one didn't really make me think of coffee. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, there's a lot of people on YouTube saying this is amazing, but dude, totally over my head. Excuse me, I didn't really like this one at all, as a matter of fact. I guess there's a little bit of coffee I can smell, in the background, like just a very bitter kind of like plain coffee sort of smell. But I mean, I'm stretching it. Like again, my nose does not relate it to coffee when I smelled it. What I actually got was, and again, in the minority, I got a cookie sort of smell. And I read on base, or not, I read, maybe some of the reviews were on base notes. And again, like, this is the minority, you know, for Ignatica. And, you know, some people are saying, like, oh, it does smell like a cookie. And someone said, like, a ginger molasses cookie. And admittedly, I don't eat a lot of cookies, I'm going to be honest with you. But it does smell like some sort of cookie. And, you know, I guess story-wise, you know, I'm one of those people, you know, a lot of people when they're kids, they think, oh, man, mom's making cookies. Or you're at a friend's house and someone is making cookies. Like, I don't want to eat the cookie. Like, I don't like cookies generally. I'm not a big cookie eater, so I don't really like the smell of cookies generally. So anyway, and I'm like, yeah, this smells like some kind of cookie. Maybe it is a ginger kind of molasses cookie. I was looking at a review, and so I asked some other people what they thought, and someone said, it's ginger snaps. This smells like ginger snaps. And you know what? Maybe that's it, because I remember not liking ginger snaps when I was a kid. So maybe it's ginger snaps, I'm going to say it's ginger snaps because I saw some reviews saying ginger molasses cookies, and someone actually said this smells like ginger snaps. So that's what I'm going with. So I really got some kind of weird cookie vibe out of this. I mean, I didn't like this. I shouldn't say it's horrible because, well, I didn't like it, but I guess it's not horrible, right? You know, I know it's getting a lot of hype, but dude, this doesn't make me think of coffee whatsoever, dude. I'm giving this one a huge pass. I don't like it, although for what it's worth, I will say this thing is like, you know, a niche fragrance, but it is reasonably priced, you know what I mean? So if you like the smell and, you know, bang for your buck, I mean, this stuff is pretty sticky, I shall say. So like, and I've smelled this I've tried this on paper too, so it wasn't just skin chemistry for me. I didn't like the smell, period, okay? But, you know, it is very sticky, and you don't have to put on a lot. So bang for your buck. This is reasonably priced for a niche by far. It's not very much at all. I think it's less than $100 for a big bottle for a niche, so that's really good. And although projection, again, it wasn't huge, longevity, again, I'm sure I got 12 hours easily. So if you like the smell, very well priced. I don't like the smell. It doesn't make me even think of coffee. So, and it smells like fucking ginger snaps, I guess. I mean, some sort of cookie. I don't like it, dude. Pass. Hype for this is totally lost on me. But again, if you like the smell, you know, bang for your buck. This is pretty good though, because it's not very much at all. And the last one, I really, really wanted to like this one. Aoud Cafe from Mancera. I think it's Mancera. The top notes are peach, blackcurrant, bergamot. The middle notes are amber, floral notes, coffee. The base notes are musk, sweet notes, and woody notes. So no oud in there, even though it's in the name, but it's got a woody. It says woody notes, and I mean, there's kind of a smell like that there. So I really, really wanted to like this one. I was super hyped when I just was browsing forums and people were talking about this. And I looked at the notes. I'm like, oh man, this looks fucking awesome, dude. You know what I mean? Like, total hype. It's very small. Not many people said they didn't like it at all. And I got it. And you know what, dude? Again, in the minority, you know what? There have been a few people that said it smelled like celery. It smells like celery. So fucking pissed off that that's what my nose thinks it smells like. That was instantly what I got. And again, only a few people have said it, but that's what my nose related it to. And you know, I don't know if it's like a cultural thing. I know my English is terrible. I don't know if it's a cultural thing or like a kind of where I live kind of thing, you know. I don't know, dude, but that's what my nose relates it to. So, to get a little more in depth, basically, first blast, the first blast, you know, fresh, kind of like candy smell. Instantly, almost, it turns into celery. That's just what my nose relates to celery. And I've tried this a few times, and I've gotten a celery smell for as much as maybe 4 hours, and I think the best I ever did was maybe a little under 2 hours. My nose didn't instantly relate it to celery. Great, right? So, and the thing is, you know, when I smell it, I can pick out the other notes. There's not a lot going on here. You know, I can smell, and there's a lot of candy smell. Like this, what do they call it in this? Sweet notes. It's very sweet, sticky candy. And it's a very strong, sweet, sticky candy. You know, you can pick out, you know, these kind of like a fresh kind of this, it's like the bergamot, juniper berries, and the peach, you know what I mean? You can pick some of these notes out, you know what I mean? The woody notes. But you know, those first few hours, man, 2-3 hours, it's very easy for me just to relate it, even though I can, like, if I'm looking for those, to make it smell like celery. I don't know why that mix is going on, dude, but that's what it is smelling like. And God, really disappointing. After that, you know what I mean? You know, my nose, because it smells fairly similar throughout. Again, my nose, I'm still smelling the sweet, sticky candy and all this kind of stuff, and the woody notes. And the coffee in this, sometimes I've smelt a little bit more. Sometimes it's done a little bit better for me. Sometimes it's a little bit more in the background, or way more in the background, okay? I don't instantly think of coffee when I smell this one. You know, it's a little bit there. But again, so as the few hours go on, you know what I mean? I'm still smelling the same notes, but my nose isn't instantly relating to celery. And it's a real shame because the dry down, although it's not amazing, I do think once that goes away, it smells good. I'm not sure if I would say it smells like a cafe, but it, you know, maybe a little bit. I mean, it is, I can't think of anything else that this smells like, I'll be honest. I will say, strangely, if you look in Fernatica, the main notes according to other people's notes are musk and coffee, and the lesser notes are the sweet candy notes and florals. So I don't get that whatsoever. I mean, the candy vibe of this is the main thing for me. Like, I know Mancera has, like, I think a black candy, is it called? I haven't smelt it, but I know I was thinking about smelling it, and they had what was it? One of the notes is licorice, and I fucking hate licorice, so I was like, I don't want to smell this, so I didn't get it. So I'm surprised because this is very candy-ish smelling to me. This is, and of course, just beside those sweet, sticky candy notes, you also have that peach, blackcurrant, and bergamot kind of like notes, plus the floral is like the floral notes in this are the same kind of floral notes I feel that they use in some other fragrances that have a slight kind of, you know, fruity candy, slight vibe to it. You know, so the floral notes kind of like are that with that, and you know, you almost get like, I should say, the candy notes in this. There's a sweet, sticky candy note, and there's a sort of candy bubble bath-ish kind of note, sort of. And that's the strange thing about this. This is actually kind of a fresh, and again, maybe it's because, you know, of course it's got to be fresh and tingling your nose because I actually get celery from it. So this is actually kind of a fresh smelling kind of fragrance, actually, slightly more than you would think, you know what I mean? God, I don't know. So how would I describe this? You know, sweet, sticky candy. I got a lot of woods in this, you know. The name is oud in it. I guess there's no oud it says in it, but there's definitely a wood note in this, you know. The florals, you know. So yeah, sweet, sticky candy, very woody, slight, maybe warm coffee in the very background. It's a real shame. I wish there was a little bit more warmth to this, because maybe if there's a little more warming notes to this, the coffee was more, please more. Maybe that would really fight the little bit of freshness so my nose wouldn't instantly think of it as celery or something. But unfortunately, it just isn't. So performance-wise, projection, again, just okay. Longevity, again, this was like another 12-hour one. This one lasted all day. I really wanted to like this one. And I still have a little baby decan of it, so I still got probably another few uses out of it, you know. So, I don't know, I really wanted to like this one, but I just don't like the first couple hours of it, you know what I mean? It just, my nose thinks of celery. But I mean, after that, it's nice. Not sure if it's amazing. I think it's pretty expensive, but whatever. So that's what I get. Sort of cafe Aoud, maybe like cafe candy shop where someone is drinking coffee in the background. I don't know, dude. So yeah, that's what I got out of those. So out of those, which one is the best? Well, the best smelling one, I'd say probably Intense Cafe with slight behind the dry down of this Cafe Oud. The worst smelling, probably Expresso Royale. I don't like it with the beginning of this Cafe Oud. Don't like it, dude. Sorry. Again, that's the minority. I know not a lot of people have said that, but you know what? Every now and then, hey, that's what I got, dude. So again, I know a lot of people, might hate on me for that, but yeah, I'm still looking for my go-to cafe, whatever, Dunkin' Donuts, right? I'm still looking for an awesome coffee fragrance. I think the next on my list to try are Barista Legendary, I think. Some PG04 Maori, I think, something like that, and I think Vanilla Mocha. I think there's those are the next few coffee fragrances I got to get around to trying. Again, if anyone sees this, please tell Dunkin' Donuts to make a fragrance. Just that smell of walking into a Dunkin' Donuts, with that coffee donut smell. That's amazing. That would be get a fragrance that plays off of that. I would love that. But sadly, still not to this day. And again, mostly, a lot of coffee fragrances, they just don't make my nose think of coffee, which is kind of disappointing. But hey, that's my review, guys. I'll try to get to some more reviews another day. Hopefully, you guys could hear me. I turned my mic up quite a bit, so hopefully you could hear me. You can you could subscribe. You could hate this, although please don't hate this, please. So thanks for watching. The end.